Okay, so a pleasant day to everyone. So we're back. So we are going to talk about this time writing and presenting concept papers in various disciplines. So in the previous module, we talked about concept paper in its very simplest sense. In its simplest sense, I mean. So today we're going to look into how you write and you present your concept papers, considering your varied disciplines, like if you're from a different strand or track, something like that. Okay. So credits to the development team of the modules, especially to SDO Pampanga, specifically SDO Pampanga. Okay, so let's start. Concept papers in various disciplines. So at the end of this module, you are expected to determine the guidelines in writing concept papers, differentiate the concepts in various disciplines, and construct a concept paper in a chosen discipline. So, ayan. So, we already considered studying earlier. We already know the nature. We already could identify the essence of a concept paper. So for today, you would be presented with different modes and patterns on how to explain a concept. Okay? So here are the format, okay? The guidelines that you should follow in terms of formatting. So of course, you usually use 8.5 by 11, but of course, you would have to ask your organization, your company, or institution as to what kind of paper do you use, okay? Because you have the letter size, which is this one, you have A4, and then you also have the folio or the long bond paper. And then your spacing is double spaced. Font is Times New Roman, or uh, depending on what your organization or institution calls for. But usually you would go for the formal type ones. You don't use cursive, okay? And then font size is 12. You also have 1 inch margin on all sides. Then you have a footer, like page 1 of 5, page 2 of 5. And then, of course, your school logo or your institution logo, and then your name on the right side. But of course, again, you have to consider what your school or organization follows. Okay, kasi minsan the format varies from school to school, university to university. Okay? So, let's move on. Okay, so, masyado mataas. Okay. There. So, let's have the following. Um, read the following situations. Sige, sagutan natin. Say yes if it calls for a development of a concept paper, and no if not. Okay, sige. Tignan natin. Okay, so number one, the teacher asked you to write your point of view about should math be removed from the college curriculum. So does it need to be defined? Does it need to be described further? Is it a yes or a no? So primarily, this item is more on an argumentative type that you would have to persuade or you would have to defend your stand. So it's a no. Okay? So number two, as a TVL student, you're asked to think of the possible theme and motive of the upcoming Christmas party. So, you are being asked to think of a possible theme. So that's a yes, kasi you're introducing an idea. Number three, as a GAS student, you want to know the impact of the Best in English Speaking Student Award on the oral fluency of learners or students. So, this one is a no kasi you're looking into the impact. Tinitignan mo na yung effect, hindi na yung hindi ka nag-introduce ng concept or term. Number four, Isen attended a dance competition with his friend. After the event, he wanted to discuss how and why the winning team's performance did not deserve the award. So you have the word how and why. So that makes it not a concept paper topic. And then number five, Riza was asked to write their platforms and their plans for the national campaign. So there's the planning, writing something new. So it's a yes. Kasi gagawa ka ng plan ng bagong concept. Okay? So, moving on. So now you know, okay? So now we have a sample concept paper. So the title is Best English Speaking Student, Best, and Best English Speaking Teacher Award, Best and Best. So nandyan yung rationale So you would have to explain the idea behind it. You would have it's this is like the intro. You would you would explain the logic of doing this um award, this particular project. Okay. So by the way, you have the header, you have the Department of Education, Region 3, Division of Pampanga, the name of the school, and the town. So, nandiyan yung logo nung school. And then, of course, I think this is the school. And then, yeah, the school and the proper, I'm not sure what logo this one is. Pero sabi niya, kagawaran ng edukasyon. But we have a new logo naman sa DepEd. Okay? So, with that, um, move, moving on, you also have objectives. Okay, here are the following objectives. What do you want to achieve with that particular plan or project? Okay, ayan, to encourage the students of the NHS to use English language as medium of instruction or communication, to enhance the English fluency and proficiency of the NHS community, to develop the language competencies of both students and teachers. Then you also have to consider the managing team, sino yung mga participants, budgetary requirements, okay, and then kung ano yung mga mapapanalunan, of course, ayan, um, I mean, funds, and then if may mapapanalunan, like, for example, this one, certificates, okay, what's the procedure? How are you going to do it? So, you have to indicate a detailed um, procedure or step-by-step process. Timeline, yung realistic na timeline. You have the date, you have the activities. Then prepared by the name of the person who prepared it, and then the position, and then approved by the approving authority. So what's the problem presented in the rationale? So let's look into it. Sabi dito, does this indirectly require all countries to speak English? Okay. So therefore, this scenario, so it's not really a problem, but it's a challenge. The paper intends to to challenge, to develop the English proficiency of the students and teachers. So the concept what is the concept given to resolve the problem? The best and the best award. Okay, how will the program be implemented through the specific steps? So there would be um, the awarding of certificates, etc. Nandun siya sa procedure. Is the estimated fund reasonable? Of course, you could check the funding, and then if you are part of the approving body, i-accept mo ba yung proposal, then explain your answer. So, in this case, you were given a sample, okay, of a very good paper. So, a concept paper is about a particular project na may purpose and outcomes. So, you would usually face this kind of paper from time to time in college, when you work, okay, depending on the type of work that you're gonna do. But practically, the parts would still be present wherever you go. It is usually created to get funding from potential sponsors, and the goal of the writing is to explain why the project should push through. Bakit kailangan yung project? Okay? Sino yung magbe-benefit din sa project? Okay? So, if you want to convince them that this project is worthwhile, you would have to make sure that it's clear, it is detailed, okay, and it's convincing in presenting that proposed project. So even if we're saying that it's convincing, it doesn't mean that it's argumentative, okay? This one presents something new. It puts forward a particular plan or a program, okay? So ito yung mga guidelines sa pagsulat ng concept paper. So first, establish your purpose. Bakit nga ba? Ano nga ba yung reason mo kung bakit ka nagsusulat ng concept paper? And you have to grab your reader's attention, okay? So you could start with a hook. When you say hook, hinuhook mo sila, binibingwit mo sila dun sa statement. Like for example, every year, 10.5 million pounds of food go to waste due to one common pest, cats. Or giving your concept paper a descriptive title like Lock the Rat Box, Humane, Hands-Free, Rodent Control. Okay? It is one good way to grab their attention. Like, if mabasa mo to, ay, oo nga, bakit ganun kadami? You'll start thinking why. Okay? And then, ano yung humane and hands-free rodent control? Okay? Rodent control na program kung ano man yon. Okay? So explain why you are also approaching the sponsor. So you introduce the concept paper, then you describe kung paano yung goal mo at yung mission ng sponsor is magko-connect, okay? And how they could benefit, how this could benefit each other, okay? Then you tell your sponsors that you've done your homework and you are serious about approaching them. And of course, you have to indicate what's in it for them, okay? The Savco Foundation has long been committed to funding projects that foster healthy communities. We have developed Lock the Rat box as an easy, cost-effective means to lower illness rates and sanitation costs in municipalities and are seeking your support for the project. Okay? So si Savco Foundation, it is known to fund projects for healthy communities. And then yung Lock the Rat Box project, it's also in line with their mission, with their current project, with their projects, okay, with the projects that they funded in the past. So magka-align sila. Okay? So describe the problem your project addresses. So, pwedeng a few sentence or a short paragraph. Describe the problem that you want to solve. Illustrate how you know it exists. So, i-explain mo yan sa rational. Then, put the problem in context to explain why it matters. Bakit kailangan? Tell them the issues, the questions, the concerns, the statistics, the numerical data, so that they would be convinced, this person really did his or her research. So, let's give it a chance. Parang ganun. And like, if you're submitting a sloppy concept paper, bakit sila maniniwala? Lalo na kailangan ng ganitong amount ng pera. So, why? Why would I give my money? Why would I sponsor this project? Parang ganun. So, if they are sponsoring a project, might as well give it to someone na may magandang project, well-researched, at may siguradong kapupuntahan. And then next is that you have to explain how your concept works. So, share the basics of your method, paano gagawin, okay? You describe them, how you go about it, okay? Then you have to emphasize anong meron, anong bago dun sa method mo, okay? What makes your method unique? Kasi syempre madaming fina-fund yung mga sponsors. So, what will set your project apart, okay? And then include the timeline, okay? You can't expect a donor or foundation to be willing to fund a completely open-ended project. So, kailangan specific. Kailan ba? Kung hindi nakalagay kung kailan yung um, implementation, paano nila malalaman na magagamit talaga yung money? And when are they going to know that there would really be an output? Okay? What if hindi ka nga naglagay ng ng timeline? Ngayon pala gagawin pa lang 2030, 'di ba? That couldn't be. So you have to indicate when, okay? Then give concrete examples of how you will assess your project. Okay? Paano mo i-assess yung project? Ano yung measure mo to check your project's outcomes? Okay? Pwede ba yung sa number of products sold or pwedeng surveys, something like that. Kung ano man yung measure, okay? Then provide a preliminary budget just like what we had in the sample. So you would have the personnel, equipment, travel, consultant, space, materials, etc. Okay? And then, end with the project summary. So, kumbaga i-wrap things up. Essential points mo, yung purpose niya, yung plan of action, the needs, make it compelling. Okay? And then, reviewing the draft, of course, you have to keep it short and neat. Dapat 3 to 5 double-spaced pages lang. Hindi mo kailangan magsabit ng parang isang thesis, okay, sa kanila. Check your language. It should be action-oriented, okay? And that would mean it's more on active, okay? You should be confident in your concept paper. And then use the vocabulary that the reader will understand. Sometimes you have the words that in your group you would understand, but if you're looking for a sponsor, that the sponsor should be able to understand what you're trying to indicate or what you're trying to request. Then include contact info. No? Makikita yun sa header o kaya sa footer. And then lastly, you have to proofread your final draft. Kasi kung may mga errors, you would be like, why would I entrust them my budget if they could not even correctly spell this particular word? Parang ganun yung ano. It's a way for you to be professional din, okay? But I'm not telling you that if you have wrong grammar or grammar mistakes is hindi ka na professional. But when you're asking for sponsorships, make sure that your draft, your paper is, if possible, close to impeccable. Kasi you're trying to convince them na reliable kami, na mapagkakatiwalaan kami and all. So, give it a chance. Parang gano'n. So, ayan. So, we exhausted all of the means. Ito na ang paayuda. Ayan na, ayan na. Yay! Ito na yung hinihintay nyo. Alam ko naman, di kayo nakinig doon sa task chart. Okay. So, let me help you answer a few of the items. A few of the items ko lahat. Hindi, a few of the items lang. So, write if the statement describes a good concept paper, F if not. Okay. So, number 1, writing a concept paper should follow a specific format. So, ano sagot mo? True or false? Of course, true. Okay. Kailangan may format yan. Hindi naman pwedeng kahit papaano lang. Next is, the main goal of a writing concept paper is to look for funds in implementing a project or a program. True or false? True. Although, hindi naman sa lahat ng pagkakataon, pero it is one of your main goals. Okay? Kasi pwedeng ang concept paper mag-introduce ka ng project na pwede namang ifa-fund na ng institution mo. Pero again, it's for, you're like giving a suggestion and it will require resources and you have to convince them. Okay? Number 3, the concepts should only be the content of your paper. Of course not. False. Kasi madaming parts, di ba? In-indicate natin. Number 4, timeline gives an idea to the sponsors on how long the project will run. Nabanggit natin kanina, hindi sila pwede mag-sponsor sa isang project na walang timeline. So this is true. Okay? At least they would know how long it will take for them to see the output. Okay? Number 5, concept papers and business plans are the same. Okay? So it's false. They have difference. So business plans are way comprehensive. Number 6, budget should be hidden unless asked by the sponsors. False. Kasi nga, di ba sila yung magsusponsor? Okay? 7, method of implementation should should not only explain the procedure but also the uniqueness of the concept. So that's a big true. So you would justify why is your why is your concept paper good? What makes it stand out? Okay? Then number 8, you can propose any concept as long as it's feasible. True, basta possible siya. And you can propose your concept paper to any funding organization. False. Bakit? Kasi dapat aligned sila. Aligned sila ng mission. Yung gagawin mong project, aligned dun sa mission, vision, goals ng organization. And then number 10, your concept goals should match with the funding's organization. Kasasabi ko lang. True. Okay? So for this one, you could read this on your own. And then, look if it's arts or business. Madali na yan, okay? So, may Victor Hugo, Les Miserables, that's Picasso. Okay, number 2, Buko Syrup Product, Henry C. Cheryl Macabebe, opening a branch, that's Henry C for business. Culture o arts. Humes, nandun yung word na exhibit, arts. 6, research, franchising, ayan, business, of course. SSG, historical program, that is arts, Picasso. 8, um, is software that can assist. Okay, so it's more of an innovative program that's business. And then film, that's art. And then Da Vinci, of course, it's art. Okay, ayan, madami ng sagot. So, for activities 3, sabi niya dito, one of the local festivals in Pampanga is Santero Festival in Macabebe. So this festival features how locals started to craft exquisite sculptures of saints. So you're now the organizer of this year's festival. You're requiring you to come up with a concept proposal for the event. So kailangan mong gumawa, given the new normal setup, to come up with your project. Okay? So you have to come up with a good proposal to attract possible sponsors and clients. So ilagay mo yung sponsor name. So this is like Santero Festival, yun yung, kumbaga, if a fund mo, kumbaga yun yung yung workout, ikaw yung organizer. So, ano yung pangalan ng program? Dapat connected dito kay Santero Festival. Ano yung description? Ano yung pakulo mo? Anong something different? Okay? Then, who is your target sponsor? Yung dapat yung aligned dun sa vision. Something cultural. Something about fiesta. Okay? Something about festivals. Timeline. Siyempre, within the time period ng festival. So, before and after, siguro maglagay ka lang ng preparation at tapos evaluation. Yun na yung kumbaga, dito yung event. Konting weeks for the preparation, then very, very short for the evaluation part. Yun na yung timeline mo. Method, papaano, and what's your budget plan? And then assessment, paano mo malalaman kung naging effective? Will you do a survey? Would you interview attendees? Would you look into the sales? You have to indicate that, okay? So after that, you're now ready. After doing this, you could make your concept paper already. You could follow the format given. Ito yung criteria: content, organization, style, grammar and mechanics, and then documentation and sources. Okay? So, what's the main goal of concept paper? Alam nyo na yan. Initial step, how do you explain the feasibility of your concept? And then, why is proofreading important in writing a concept paper? So, you have to answer those because those were already explained. So, ito naman. Assessment tayo. Mabilis lang ah. It is the first step in writing a concept paper in arts and business. Of course, it's before you have your procedure, your sponsors, and your draft, you have to know your purpose. It's letter B. Number 2, this contains the estimated expenses. So, expenses is budget. Okay. Next is it explains how your concept works. Method. Okay, paano ba? Then it suggests you need a hook. You need to hook your audience in your concept paper. Yes, it's grabbing your reader's attention. That's a rationale. Number 5, okay, these statements refer to reviewing your draft, except your paper short, to check your language, finalize your format. Letter A, hindi yan kasali. Emphasizing your methods, okay? Number 6 is providing examples on how your concept works can attract more audience. True, of course. 7, okay, this section of the paper will devote a few sentences on this specific purpose. Okay, so this is describing, okay, the problem that your project addresses. Okay, and then number 8, it may differ in format depending on the desire of your target funding organization. Yes, it's true. Again, di ba nasabi ko, depende sa organization mo or yung tina-target mong audience. Number 9, standard font size, it's letter B. Pero syempre, alamin mo kung ano yung sa organization. And then number 10, concept paper should feature the uniqueness of your method. Of course, it's letter A. So with that ha, dapat alam nyo na yan. Ay, lumitaw. Hindi dapat lilitaw yon. So, hindi nyo nakita yon. So, I'll be discussing the next module. And I'll be uploading it very, very soon. Okay? So, if you don't have any question, I hope you understood how to make a concept paper. But then again, other organizations may have a different format. Okay? But for this module, this is how we do it. So with that, if you don't have questions, let's end it here. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to comment whatever it is. Basta hindi siya bastos or hindi siya rude. If you have concerns, okay, comment. Okay, magsasagot naman ako. Pag hindi ako busy. De, char. Sasagot naman ako. Okay, with that, let's call it a day. Bye-bye.